Rachel Parsons. And tell us, Rachel, what is it that 33 plus California attorney generals would come together on?
Well, I tell you, we don't see this kind of collaboration very often, but this is great news for gun owners, for Second Amendment advocates all across this country. 33, and in addition to that, California's Attorney General, so 34 state attorney generals sent an amicus brief in support of the National Rifle Association's appeal to the Seventh Circuit Court for due process clause of the 14th Amendment be applied to the Second Amendment. So what that means is that the Second Amendment would be incorporated to the states. So this is a decision that lost out in the Seventh Circuit, which is the circuit that controls Chicago, saying that states and municipalities can ban guns from law-abiding ownership if they so choose, and that the Second Amendment does not protect that. Mm-hmm. What these state attorneys generals are coming out to say is that that's untrue. It is unconstitutional to ban civilian ownership of firearms in any state or city in this country. This is great news for the Second Amendment, and we're hoping to see this case be taken up by the Supreme Court. We want to hear what the High Court has to say about the Second Amendment and who it applies to.
Okay, so for those members out there who may not be an attorney, and I'm not an attorney, but the amicus brief is basically a political procedure in which to get the attention of the courts to rule on something. Is that not correct?
That is absolutely correct. It is a friend of the court brief. Okay. So basically what that means is these folks, these 34 attorneys general, are in favor and supporting the National Rifle Association's assertion that the Second Amendment should be incorporated to the states. That it's not just a federal right that you have to keep and bear arms, but the states also need to protect that right as well.
That's huge, Rachel. I mean, 33. That's huge, and California to boot. Now, that totally mystifies many of us in California. I'm sure that actually Jerry Brown came on board with that. So that's terrific.
It's great news, and in fact, that part of the country has been coming along recently. Just a few months ago, the Ninth Circuit came out in support of incorporation.
That's correct.
So this is great news, and it seems like folks in California are reaching their legislators and letting them know that the Second Amendment is an individual right that should be protected for all Americans.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right, because I know there's a very strong NRA organization in California. In fact, right here in Santa Barbara, where we are, I think they're going to have an NRA annual meeting coming up, I think it's next week, and that has a huge attendance. And I think you're absolutely right. Due to the efforts of the NRA and its membership, they can actually influence policies in the state of California. If they can do it here, right, they can do it anywhere.
Absolutely. NRA is a grassroots organization, and we're only as strong as our members are vocal. So we want to encourage everyone to contact your attorney general if he or she signed the amicus brief in favor of incorporation. And if you're one of the states that your AG did not sign it, we think they need to hear from you as well. We want to give credit where credit is due for those folks who signed on for us, because without them we go nowhere. But in addition to that, we need to let the folks know who did not sign on to this that we are disappointed, and we want to see them show their support for the Second Amendment.
You know, Rachel, I wish I had a map. If I had a map, and I may next week, I'll have a map of the United States, and maybe we can do some little color work here and see who's on board with this and who isn't, because this is going to take a little while to mature. Now, we're not going to get an answer out of the Supreme Court in a week.
No.
Right. This
is going to be something that we're going to be keeping our eyes on for the next several months to a year. I mean, when we were working with Heller, I feel like you and I were talking about it once a week. There was something new always coming up, but it was a slow process, and this is going to be the same. Right now we're working, the Supreme Court has not even made a ruling yet whether or not they'll take up our case. We certainly hope they do. And with this kind of support, I think it's going to be hard for them to turn us down, but you just never know. You can never tell what the Supreme Court will do.
Yeah, that's right. It's always a mystery. You never know which way they're going to turn. But however, next week, Rachel, if you'll help me and give me the names of the states, we'll do some sort of a map presentation just to make it perfectly clear to people, because I'll bet some people out there don't even know whether their state has or has not joined up on this.
That's right. And I will be sure to let you know which states did not sign on. It's very important for those attorneys general to hear from you and to make sure that they know that it's so important that we have the support to protect the Second Amendment. This incorporation ruling is the next step into protecting our Second Amendment freedoms all across this country, and to end gun bans in cities like Chicago and surrounding areas.
And you know what? If I knew that the Attorney General, and we're going to make it, we will do that here. If I knew the Attorney General in any state had come on board with this, I would probably even take a minute to send him a note thanking him.
Absolutely. Be sure to call them, send them notes, let them know that we so appreciate their support. Without them, we wouldn't be being able to talk about this topic today, and we certainly wouldn't have the support that we absolutely have with 2/3 of state attorneys generals in support of the Second Amendment.
Yeah, so shooters, I think it's just as important to say thank you as it is to criticize. So make a point. Next week we're going to have a map. I promise, Rachel, we'll have a map, and we'll go over the states that are on this and the ones that are not, and we'll see if we can do anything here with your membership that we reach to help advance this. I think this is a very important issue, and I'm very proud that 33 attorney generals from across the country have signed up on this, and California.
That's right.
Okay. See you next week.